Hey everyone, my name is Danielle and welcome back to my channel. Today's the start of a new reading vlog. I literally just wrapped up my other one this morning, but I figured since that one kind of actually held me accountable for once, that I would just start this one now and see if this will motivate me to finish these books. This is going to be a 5-star prediction vlog. I only have 4 more books left on my 5-star predictions that I did for 2022. So I'd really love to finish those out in the month of August because I only have 4 left. Granted, they are some chunky ones. What I did is, I'll link my video also. I picked 7 backlist books and then 7 releases that were from 2022 that I think were going to be 5 stars for me. Hasn't gone well, I'm not gonna lie. So it only took me about 8 months, but I only have about 4 left to read. I'm actually in the middle of one of them. The one that I have is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I am about 100 pages into this one. And while I was reading this, I was like, you know what? I'm really close to being done. I think I need a little motivation to read some of these ones that I've been putting off. So here we go. So I'm 100 pages into this. So the books that I'm going to read for this video are Once Upon a Broken Heart, like I said. The first book, Jade City in the Greenbone Saga. This one I have been talking about reading forever. Same with Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is just kind of a, hopefully, a way to force myself to read these. I also have Siren Queen by Nhi Vo. This is my only 2022 release I think I have left. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. So I also have this one. And then I know this looks chunky, but it is just the first book in this. This is all 3 of the books in the I don't know what this trilogy is called. The Inheritance Trilogy. It's literally right there. This is the Inheritance Trilogy, but I picked just the first book in this, which is about 380 pages. So that's not too bad. So these are the books. They're all fantasy. I basically left all high fantasy, regular fantasy, historical fantasy for last. These are the 4 that I have. So I'm going to start with, I guess I'll go over them real quickly. This is a YA fantasy, kind of historical, that follows this girl named Evangeline who trades 3 kisses to a fate to stop this wedding of the man she is in love with, and things are obviously not going well. I think it's okay so far. The Inheritance Trilogy, or at least the first one, The 100,000 Kingdoms, I believe is about this girl and her love story with a god, maybe, which is kind of interesting because I'm pretty sure this is a love story with a fate. This is a love story with a god, I think. I then have Siren Queen, which is a historical fantasy novel set in pre-code Hollywood about a Chinese American girl. And I believe she is trying to stay authentic to herself, not fall into stereotypes, and kind of learning who is monsters in this kind of world. And I'm very excited for that one. And then I also have Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is another fantasy, but it's more of, I think, a political mafia gang style fantasy. I hear it's very, very political. So I've actually been putting this one off because I got a little nervous by some of the way people have been talking about this, that now I'm worried this is not going to be for me. And I'm very worried because I bought like the nice Fairy Loot editions. Is it Fairy Loot or a Lumicrate? I think it's a Lumicrate. I bought like the really nice editions of the whole series, and now I'm worried I'm not gonna like this. But so these are my plans for this coming couple weeks. I will read these as I have time, but I only have 4 left. I'm very excited that I am almost done with my 5-star predictions, and I hope I actually get one that's 5 stars. I don't think I've had a single one yet that I've predicted to be 5 stars is 5 stars. I'm gonna keep reading this one, Once Upon a Broken Heart. I guess I'll kind of talk about it real quick since I am already 100 pages in. So this is set in the same world as Caraval, and the first book in the Caraval series is one of my favorite books ever. I love that story. I did not like the second and third book though. This one I feel like so far is better than those 2, but I am not really loving the way the conflict went to get to her to, like, I felt very convenient. The beginning portion and her situation felt very, I don't know the right word, like, it's not a great setup to make her do what she needs to do. Like, it didn't make sense in the context. Like, I just didn't love what had to happen to make her go to this, I guess. So far, This is fine. This follows a character from the previous book, Jax, who is a Fate. This does definitely spoil, I think, Caraval. I think it's much better to read that series in full and then this one. Even though I don't necessarily think you have to read those books to understand, I think you'll get better understanding of it if you do read this one first. And then also it does spoil the first trilogy, I think. At least with the second and third book. So yeah, this one is okay so far. I am not having high hopes at the moment because I'm not loving it. I hope I do because I have 2 copies of this book. But there we go. That is the one I'm going to go for. And we're going to read and I'll come back to you when I'm a little farther. I'm going to hopefully, I will probably try to check in with you guys after halfway and we'll see if anything's changed. So I have finished Once Upon a Broken Heart. Last night, I finished it late last night, so I didn't want to stay up and get up to talk about this, but this is fine. So I gave this 3.5 stars. I feel like I did enjoy this more than the second and third book in the Caraval series, but this is definitely not a new favorite. What's up? You can go watch your iPad, and as soon as I'm downstairs, I will print that picture for you.
Hey, Squeak. Squeaky. Come here.
Okay.
Look, that's baby Squeak.
All right, go downstairs. So this is definitely not a new favorite, not 5 stars. I do think I will pick up the sequel. About halfway through, I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I definitely am intrigued enough to see where this goes, but not a new favorite. The writing of this just was not my favorite. And the progression of this story. There was a few things I remember talking about, like how I was kind of annoyed how she ended up going north. I don't know if I really talked about that. So this follows a girl named Evangeline. She's trying to stop the wedding of this boy she's in love with. And she goes to Jax, who is a Fate, to basically have him stop the wedding in exchange for 3 kisses. And I did like the way the kisses thing progressed. There is a reason that she has to go north to this kind of party, and when that happened I was like, this makes no sense. What are you talking about? How did they, why would they agree to let her go? Now it makes a little bit more sense, and I did think that was better done for that part, so I am intrigued to continue. But overall I just think this was fine. I don't know what it was. The writing was just not my favorite in this. I think the progression of the story, especially in the beginning, moved too fast to get her to the north. So, but I do like Evangeline as a character because she is really trying to do the right thing, but she just kind of keeps getting into these situations where she has to make tough choices. I did like this, but I didn't love it. So it's unfortunately only a 3-star for me. I was really hoping to love it. Been putting it on my TBR every single month for almost a year now, but I am glad I finally finished it. The sequel actually comes out next month, so I do think I'm going to pick it up. I have both of the special editions, this one from Alocrate and the one from Fairy Loot. I didn't pick up the second Fairy Loot edition because I wasn't sure if I was going to like this, but I think I'm just going to pick up the Barnes & Noble one. Also because I like the covers, the US covers more for this. I just like the kind of simplicity of these covers. 3 stars, unfortunately. And I was incorrect when I said I haven't gotten a 5-star for my 5-star predictions. I've gotten 1. And I think I'm gonna go with the 100,000 Kingdoms first. If not that, then I'll pick up Siren Queen. Unfortunately, I think I'm keeping Jade City for last, even though that one's the longest one and will probably take me the longest. That's probably the one I'm gonna waste for last. I'm gonna wait for that one last. So that's where we are with this. I will come back to you whenever I've actually started my next book that is actually for this vlog. So I decided randomly to pick up Jade City by Fonda Lee. I just kind of grabbed it before we went to baseball practice because baseball has started for my kid. So I read a little bit of it. I'm only about 25 pages in and I already really like Hilo, and I'm already really liking his character. This is a adult fantasy series that follows the use of jade to give magic. There are these clans that kind of control the city of Janloon, I think is the name of the city if I remember correctly. And they all kind of have different sections. That is their territory, but it seems like someone is kind of going onto their territory. And the main character that I found we followed so far is Hilo, as he is dealing with these two jade thieves, and there is kind of a rumor of this new carver. But I think what they were saying, that a carver is someone that takes like uncut gems, uncut jade, and sells them on the street. It's very like, jade to me seems like kind of like a drug at the moment. It definitely feels like a comparison to drug trafficking. I'm liking the writing so far. I just don't know if this is what I'm in the mood for to read, because it is a long, thick fantasy. And I know it's going to be much more political than I feel like most of the fantasy I read. Most of the fantasy I read is going to be more magic based, where this one I feel like is going to be a lot more political with a bit of magic. But I am excited to keep going, so we'll see. I'm surprised that I picked this one up, because I was actually planning on picking up Siren Queen, and then for some reason I was just like, this is what we're going with, which is good because I need to get through this one and the rest of it. So yeah, for this video I'm gonna continue reading this. Again, I'm not very far. I am liking it. I like Hilo. Hopefully I will finish it soon, and I will come back to you when I actually read.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show.
So this is a very political fantasy that follows the use of jade as their source of magic. And I do think that that is an interesting take and has interesting commentary on how the world kind of runs, especially with the influences. This is basically set on an island that is the only place that this jade is, and they are exporting some of it out of the country. Really the only people that can use the jade are these green bones that can handle the intense pressure basically of using jade. But there is this drug that has been introduced and talked about that can allow other people to use it. So I'm interested to see where that storyline goes. There is a growing tension in these two, kind of between these two clans of green bones. There is a lot of tension that's being built up between them. I keep thinking we're gonna get this explosion of conflict, and it always kind of just really gets close and then it kind of fizzles out a little bit, but it keeps amping back up closer and closer. So I'm assuming that's where we're kind of heading, at least on that part. But I am nervous about these characters because I really am starting to grow attached, especially to Hilo. I love him. I love his character. I want to read more and more for him. But I am really enjoying the other three kind of main characters. You're basically following four main characters, with Hilo, Lan, and Shay being the main three. And then you have their kind of cousin or adoptive cousin as the fourth character. He's not quite as involved so much so far, but it is definitely following more so the other three at the moment, while they are dealing with the politics, with all of the interesting, intricate developments and relationships that are going on between the characters in this specific clan, which is the No Peak clan, and the Mountain clan, which is their rival, basically. So really enjoying this. I'm very nervous where this is going, and I do own the second and third book for this trilogy. They're just the nicer, I think it's the Illumicrate editions, so I don't want to get them all dirty, because this one I'm kind of destroying as I'm reading, but I have the first one of this as well. Very glad right now that I bought the special edition of this, because I am enjoying this quite a bit. It's a lot, and I'm worried where this goes, especially when people are like crying during the third book. So we'll see how that goes. But I have high hopes. I'm really loving this. I can't wait to finish it, but I think it's going to take me another while to finish it, because I really am struggling. Not that I don't like it, but I'm struggling sitting down and reading it for long periods of time. I can only read about 50 pages and then I'm like tired, and I want to read something like a lot quicker paced. So that's where I am with this. I feel like it's going to take me a really long time to finish it, but I'm okay with that. I am kind of enjoying taking my time. I usually don't do that with books. I've been really, not even like, it's not that I necessarily rush through books, but I usually tend to pick up faster paced books that I fly through, and so I can get to the next one because I want to know what happens. Where this, I'm enjoying the slower process of reading this, the build up, the tension that keeps amping up, and all of these things kind of just keep getting difficult and more stressful. So just really enjoying that one. Very happy that I put this one on my 5-star predictions to make me read it, because I'm really enjoying it. It is the next day and I finished Jade City. I flew through this today. I ended up having to stay home with my kid because he was a little sick, so we kept him home today, so I had a little bit of extra free time. I was working from home, but I did a lot more free time. I finished Jade City. I loved this. 5 stars. I am so happy that a book I picked was 5 stars. Like, I'm just very excited to finally enjoy one of my 5-star picks. I think I mentioned before that I have given one other one 5 stars, but like almost all the other ones that I've picked, that I've predicted, have been like 3 and less. Very happy that I enjoyed this. I kind of want to dive into the second one, but at the same time I kind of want to give myself some time, because I just know shit is gonna get worse. And yeah, just the progression of all of these stories really worked for me. I was slightly underwhelmed with the end of this, the climax of this, but I think that's because I have 2 more books in the series, and the conclusion that I was expecting in this one is going to obviously have to come later. So for everything else in this book though, I really love this. I love Hilo. Shay is a great character. Ondon is a great character. Lan is a great character. Like, I loved all of these siblings. Really intrigued to see where the hell this story is going to go from here. I kind of just glanced through the map. The world is basically expanding in the next book in this series. So we're going to get a lot more of the outside powers, I think, than what is on Janloon. So excited to read this, excited that I read this. I'm just so very happy that I gave this 5 stars. I was so worried that I would not like this, and then me having bought the special edition, the whole trilogy from Illumicrate, and then me not liking this, I was very worried about wasting my money on that. But vindicated, very happy that I like that. So my longest one is actually done now. I'm actually very surprised that this is the one I picked up and read, because it was the one I was the most nervous about. It was the longest, but I feel so much better having gotten this one off my plate. All I have left are Siren Queen by Nevo, and then the first book in this one. And I'm kind of tempted just to start one of these right now, just to start going, because I don't know, after finishing Jade City, I want to keep reading more fantasy, but I want something more fantasy, I think. So I'm leaning towards this one. I don't like bind-ups. I have never been a big fan of reading bind-ups like this. I just couldn't find these as individual novels. I do love how floppy, even though this thing is huge, I love how floppy this is and how like just like lays flat. My issue is that I will only be reading the first book in the series. It's hard for me to start another series. I don't know why I picked so many series starters for my damn 5-star predictions, but here I am with it. But this one's less than 400 pages and the writing is a lot. The typeface is a lot bigger than Jade City was, and this one is like 260 pages, but the typeface is very tiny. And I don't know if I'm in the mood for historical right now. So I'm gonna think about what I'm gonna read next. It's gonna be one of these two for this video, even though I might go pick up something else prior. I think this one, I think my library has the audio book, so I could look into that. So there we have it. I've read 2 of the 4 so far, and it's been like 3 weeks. And I've gotten a 3-star and a 5-star, so I'm very excited about that. So hopefully I love these 2. Hopefully they're 5 stars also. And once again, I will come back to you when I've started something. What? What? They're very talkative this morning. I don't know. But I started Siren Queen. I know, I'm actually getting right into this. This is only the next day after I finish Jade City. So I'm very surprised that I'm just like, you know what, we're just gonna pick this up next. And I am actually already 134 pages into this. And I don't know what I've talked about for this one, but this follows a Chinese American woman who is looking to be a star in Hollywood, but she really wants to try to keep herself as authentic as she can. So when she does get into this world, in the beginning she says no maids, no funny talking, no painting flowers. And we are just basically, we kind of go through when she first saw movies, her obsession with the beginning, how she first got into seeing these movies, wanting to be a part of them, seeing these actresses and wanting to be them, and how she is going from that to where she can actually maybe be a star. And I am liking this. I love Nevo's writing. I think it's just very beautiful the way it's done. I think she can just write some very intriguing characters. For me right now, this one is not my favorite. Not loving the concept of it, and I think that is 100% a me thing. So the actual plot of the story is not the most intriguing to me because I am not 100% invested in someone trying to be a star. Oh my god. So while I like the writing of this book, the plot itself is not something that I am loving at the moment, and that is just because I'm not as invested in characters that are trying to be a star, trying to be famous. This is a lot about like immortality and how to become immortal through media, basically. And I do love her writing. I think Luli is a very interesting character, and I really want to know more about her relationship with her sister, where that is going to go, because of the interesting dynamics that there was in the beginning of this. There is just such an interesting magic set up. Just like magic is real, everyone knows about it. There's different types of magic depending on what part of the world you're from. There is talk on, like, one of the girls is from Sweden and she is not necessarily human, but that's just like a thing. It's just totally normal in this world, and I just think it's so interesting. This one was like, this one and The Chosen and the Beautiful just have such interesting magic in them because it is just a part of life. It's like all of the stories, all the myths and legends and folklore of the world is real in these stories, and I really like that part of it. It's just this particular one so far I'm not loving as much as I loved The Chosen and the Beautiful. I'm liking it, but it's not my favorite that plot wise. I am hoping for a little bit more. We'll see when we get a little bit farther in. Like I said, I'm almost halfway. I only have about less than 150 pages left. And I'm going through this pretty quickly. And I'm just really hoping it picks up and that I like it more, because I love the cover of this. I just think it's gorgeous. I love Nevo's writing. And yeah, my battery light is flashing, so I will see you in a little bit when I get a little farther, or hopefully I'll probably just update you when I actually finish it, because I should finish this today, but we'll see. I finished Siren Queen last night. I was too tired to talk about this book. It was right before I went to bed. And I think I'm gonna give this like a 3.5 star. I absolutely love the writing of this. I just think it is so well done in it. I just didn't love this one as much as I liked The Chosen and the Beautiful, because I just think I loved the characters more in that one. It gave me more feeling, more sense of this kind of melancholy ending, where this one was just, to me, just very abrupt. Maybe how it ended, how this ending played out was not my favorite. It just wasn't quite what I was looking for in a story like this. I think what I liked so much about The Chosen and the Beautiful was the feelings that I got from it, these characters, the relationships, and how everything came to be in the end, where this one just wasn't quite what I was looking for. It felt abrupt. I wasn't as invested in this main character as I was with Jordan from The Chosen and the Beautiful. I still really loved her writing, the descriptions of the story, the way the magic plays out in these stories. I just think it's so intriguing the way she writes these magic systems, because they're really not a magic system. They are just a part of life and just seen for what they are. And I really, really enjoyed that portion of it. It was just the actual plot itself was not my favorite. I just could not get as invested in in Luli's drive to be part of movies, to be this star kind of thing. It just didn't work as well for me. I still think a lot of people can enjoy this one for the talks and the discussions in this book on the representation of Chinese Americans, the racism that they had to deal with. I think it was really intriguing for those portions. The plot itself was just not my favorite. Will I still pick up everything from Nevo? Yes, I will. I love her writing. I will probably pick up every single book she writes. She has a book coming out that is the 3rd book in the Singing Hills cycle, which comes out I think in a couple months, which I will definitely be reading because I really enjoyed the first 2 of those. So loved other books from her, but this one was just not my favorite, but I'm still glad I read it. So I only have one more book left to read. I only have 100,000 Kingdoms left. I'm really surprised that I was able to just get that book read. Just picked it up right away. I'm surprised my mood rating let me. So all I have left is the 100,000 Kingdoms, and I'm done with this vlog. I feel like I've been doing this vlog for the entire month of August, which I think I have actually. That leaves one book left, and so I guess I'm gonna go try to read that one next. We'll see if I can just pick it up and get through it the same way I have with the other 2, but we'll see how that goes. It's been like a month and a half since I've updated this vlog. As I've said a few of my other videos, I took an unintentional break from recording in September, and I just never picked up my last book for this video. But I've finally done that. So the last book is the first book in this trilogy. This is the entire trilogy. I am not reading this entire trilogy at the moment, but I am reading the first book of this series, which is The 100,000 Kingdoms. So basically this is in a world where there are gods, but they are kind of enslaved a little bit. They must follow all the rules from the central family, except for one, the Sky Father, who's the one supposedly that defeated the gods, the other gods. And so he's the one that kind of rules over everyone else. So the central family is like the family of the moral ruler, but everyone kind of worships the Sky Father. But there is like the Night Lord, who is considered like a bad guy at the moment, even though I'm pretty sure he's gonna be misunderstood. There are his children, and those are the only gods I think I've really met so far. But you follow a woman who's kind of taken from her home and thrown into the court at Sky, where all of the central family is, and she, along with like 2 of her cousins, are being set up to be an heir to their grandfather's throne. She never expected to be one of them because she was just kind of from a remote, nothing little country or province territory, but he names her one of the heirs, so she's kind of thrown into the politics of being here, and she's trying to figure out basically how to survive in this new area against these 2, basically her cousins, who at least one of them is trying to kill her, I think. The other one just doesn't really care. He's trying to survive as well, but her other cousin is definitely trying to mess her up. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm about 93 pages in. This section is, if you take out the appendices, it's about 374 pages, so I have only less than 300 pages to go, but I am really enjoying it so far. I like the way this is written. So I had tried to read the 5th season series, is one of my favorite series ever. I love that trilogy. And I tried to read The City We Became a couple years ago, and I really struggled with getting into that one. I think I got about halfway through and I DNF'd it. I still plan to go back to it because I love N.K. Jemisin and I don't want to not read one of her books, but that one really I really struggled with. So I've been procrastinating picking up anything else from her because I worried that I wasn't gonna like it, that the 5th season series was just like an anomaly for me. That was the only series I was gonna like from her. But I am really enjoying the way this one is written because it's like the main character is telling us a story, and so she'll kind of cut in at times with kind of commentary about either her past or what's going on right now, but then she'll be like, oh wait, no, that's not yet. We're not there yet. We're not at that point yet. And I'm really enjoying that part of it, the way she's narrating this story of basically, I think, how she survived, maybe. I'm not really sure. I have a theory on what I think is going on, but I don't want to say that in case it's a spoiler and in case I'm right. But I will just mention that I think I know where this is going, but we'll see. I think the Night Lord is being set up kind of as a love interest for her, and I'm really liking, there's a little boy character, even though he's like thousands of years old and he's definitely mature, he kind of puts himself in the body of a little boy. So he kind of acts like one of these cute little kid, kind of, even though he's like thousands and thousands of years old. So he's definitely more mature, but there's some uncomfortable things that they've alluded to with him, what people basically kind of ask of him. So very uncomfortable with that. Feel bad for him for that situation, but really liking it. So hopefully I'll be able to finish this in the next few days, and then I will finally have read all of my 5-star predictions for 2022. It only took me 10 months to get through all of these books, but we're getting there. So I will come back to you. I think I'm gonna try to see if I can come back to you about halfway through, and then one more time when I am finished. The light's not great, but it's been raining all day, so this is what we're going for the last clip of this video, because I did finish The 100,000 Kingdoms. I couldn't remember the name of this specific book. So I did finish The 100,000 Kingdoms. I actually really enjoyed it. I am gonna give it 5 stars. It is not like an all-time new favorite, but it was so well done. I really enjoyed it. I loved all of these characters. Yaini, the main character, I really liked being in her head, her voice, the way things were handled, and the situation she got herself into, and how she kind of adapted to being at this, you know, in this new situation, dealing with all of these basically enslaved gods and her family, and the weird dynamics there, the weird relationships, coming to terms with what she had to do. I really liked it. And while I saw where it was going, technically there was some surprises that I was not expecting. It did not go the traditional route that I thought it was for who she is, kind of thing, but it definitely went where I thought it would go. But I really enjoyed it. I love the way N.K. Jemisin does like relationships. They're not easily done. They're very, you know, there's a lot of heartache and hardships and turbulent things that happen to get these characters to where they are. I'm really excited to continue this series because I'm hoping that we get more, maybe not background, but a little bit more background on a couple characters, especially the gods, like how they got to this point that they were in this first book. And I know the next books are sequels. I'm very interested to see where it's going to go, what's going to happen to these characters, but I don't know if it's, everyone says that it's like they're companion novels, and I'm not quite sure what the next one's going to be about. This book reminded me why I say like N.K. Jemisin is one of my favorite writers, is because of the way she crafts her stories. I just love the way they're done. They're always in a unique style. Like the Broken Earth series had a lot of second person, which I actually really like second person if it's done well. I think it's a really interesting way to tell a story. So I actually really enjoyed that one. This one, again, even though it's mostly, it's first person, it's the way that it's done is kind of unique, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm excited. I got another 5-star book. I do know what I'm talking about, at least sometimes, with the books that I read. So that is it for my 5-star predictions for 2022, or at least for this part. I do think I'm going to do a new 5-star prediction video where I pick out the books that I think will be 5 stars. I think I am going to kind of go over really quickly in that video what I did give 5 stars and what I didn't, but for this specific vlog, we'll recap really quickly how I did. So for this video, I read Once Part of a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, gave this one 3 stars. We'll continue in the series though, because I am intrigued to see where this goes. And I just recently got the sequel, so I might be picking that up soon, hopefully. And then I also read Jade City by Fonda Lee. Absolutely love this, 5 stars. Probably my favorite book of this video. So loved all of the characters in this book. Very excited to continue. Scared, but hopefully eventually I will pick it up. I just need to kind of push myself a little bit. And then I also read Siren Queen by Nevo. 3 stars, was just fine, not my favorite, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. And then my final read was The 100,000 Kingdoms. Absolutely loved this, 5 stars, really good, excited to continue in this series as well. So overall, I mean, not too bad of 5-star predictions, really. I mean, 2 3 stars and 2 5 stars is definitely not too bad, actually. I'm excited that I was able to finally read these, because I've been meaning to read these obviously since the beginning of this year, if not longer. Because these 3 are backlist ones I've been meaning to read for a long time. This one's a new release, so I obviously wasn't waiting as long. But they're all books I've just been excited to read. I'm glad I did it. So I got two 5 stars and a new favorite. So excited that I was actually able to finish this finally. So I think I will do another 5-star predictions video pretty soon. I think I might do 2 different ones. One of them are going to be for backlist books. I'm probably only going to pick 5 this time, just so it doesn't take me so long to read them. And I might try to see if I can fit them all into one video again and just predict them and read them. We'll see if I can do that in one video. Otherwise, I'll announce my 5 and then read them maybe in a separate vlog. And then I also think at the beginning of January for 2023, I will pick 5 to 10 books that are coming out in 2023 that I'm going to do 5-star predictions, because I really like doing these just because they're fun. They get me motivated to read. They make me want to read, especially backlist titles like this. I feel like it gives me the chance to kind of motivate myself to pick them up, because I want to see if I enjoy them as much. And I will eventually, you know, continue the series for actually these 3. I will continue the series for those, and I'm definitely going to pick up everything by Nevo. I might not have loved this one, but I will probably always pick up stuff from her because I like her writing. They're good stories. So that is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.